So we like everybody to be able to be a full service real estate agent and not limit themselves as to what they're able to accomplish in this industry. Okay. The biggest thing is you just have to take action. So I am actively wholesaling properties. I'm usually the silent partner. I'll be honest, because running a brokerage doesn't leave you a whole lot of time, as you know, Dwayne. So I'm usually just the silent partner. I have other investors who are out there running the deals for me. As Mark says, being a lead generator is the strong point of real estate investing. So I too like to generate leads. I generate leads for the agents in my office, as well as being able to generate leads for investors. So
yeah, she's got access to some proprietary software. So like when I'm like I did the Chicago market and I wanted to go after some commercial property there for consideration for donations. So what I needed to know all the property owners that were delinquent in their taxes, all the property owners that were in foreclosure, and all the property owners that had vacant properties, and all the property owners that owned property that were located out of state. So in a matter of 30 minutes, she can give me all that information. Or if I need and not only can she give me the information, she can give me their phone number, their address, and their email where I can get hold of them. So let's say that you found an investment property and you've bought it, and it's say a fine fix and flip, or it's a wholesale deal, and you want to know who all the property owners are in a given zip code. So with her software, she not only can tell me all the property owners, she can tell me how many properties they own, how active they are, if they're out of state, or sometimes an out of state property owner is a motivated seller too. So there's all kinds of, when you've got somebody like that that can pull that kind of information, then you can rock. So that's the kind of broker you want to look for, one that's heavy into investment property, but also is into the retail. So, and Maureen is that. So,
thanks, Mark. I'm going to come at this as the broker, not necessarily the investor, because I'm going to talk about the real estate side of things. And Mark is really going to talk about the investment side. And we're going to kind of put this all together so that it meshes, so that you can see how having a real estate license can only benefit you. It won't be a detriment to your real estate investing business. So as the real estate broker, I'm kind of going to be the cheerleader that I am for the agents in my office. And I'm going to talk to you as I do them. And when I'm helping them to build their book of business, right? So, but the same principles apply, whether you're investing, whether you have a license, whether you don't, but I'm just going to talk to you that way. So what you think you create, and what you feel you attract, and what you imagine you become. So when you see yourself in these real estate transactions, you have to already envision your outcome. You have to know what you want that end result to look like. You have to have an exit strategy. You have to have all of those things ready to go. So when you pull that trigger and you're investing in that property, that, you already know what your end result is going to look like. What were you going to say, Mark?
No, I'll add it later. Go.
Oh, okay. So one of the things that kills me is television, right? So as we all know, there are some of these shows that you can see, the House Hunters, the HGTV specials, the Fine Fix and Flip. We've got Nicole Curtis here. She's a native Michigander, right? From Lake Orion, and she's the rehab addict. And you've got the love it or list it people. You've got the $1 million listing people. And, some of that is more reality driven, but most of that is staged for television. I mean, even some of those, if you know the background of the filming, I mean, we've actually been approached by HGTV here because they wanted to do a series on like living in the lakes area, right? And buying lakefront properties because, you can't go a mile here without running into water in Michigan, especially in southeastern Michigan. And so, you know, one of the things that they wanted us to do was to film over, you know, like a long period of time. And so it was like, here's the client, you're going to find them the houses before we even start the series. And then what's going to happen is that they're going to, you know, you're going to show maybe 3 houses that you've shown them or whatever. And, you know, they're already going to have purchased this home. They're actually already going to have moved into this home. And so what you're actually going to be filming is quote unquote their house. Okay. And what it looks like. And so anyways, so part of that is very, very much staged for television. So the reality is that most deals don't go as smoothly as they depict on there. Most negotiations don't go the same way that the $1 million listing folks predict them, you know, where they're, you know, hey, you know, you need to sharpen your pencil or whatever. I mean, you know, people don't talk to each other that way. They just don't. So that most of that is staged for television. They wouldn't be in business very long if that's how they really talked to one another. So, so a lot of that is definitely staged for TV. So the reality TV versus the reality of real estate are, you know, 2 very different things. But I want people to understand. And the reason I say that is because you have to know what your why is. What is your why, right? Why do you want to get into real estate investing? Why might you want to have a real estate license, such as Andrew, you know, who's, you know, getting ready to sit for his exam, right? What is your why? You know, the why is the purpose, the cause, or the belief that inspires you, right? Knowing your why. I mean, when you start to look at, you know, those things, I mean, how many times have you seen these TV shows that make real estate investing and rehabbing or listing and selling look so easy? You know, this is not reality. Real estate pays off when you engage. You'll get out of it what you put into it, but you have to take action. You must take action. So knowing your why. Are you in it for the money? Do you think it's a quick and easy way to make fast cash? It can be. I'm not going to lie. You know, sometimes we get lucky, but that's not always the case. Do you enjoy rehabbing properties? You know, so maybe the find, fix, and hold, or the find, fix, and flip is, you know, what works best for you. Restoring homes to their former glory days. You know, are you like the rehab addict where she likes to find those older houses because she loves those, you know, the intricate details of the architecture? You know, do you enjoy helping people, right? Finding out what their pain points are. How can you help them have a graceful exit, right? Be that homeowner advocate. You know, sometimes it's about knowing what hat you need to wear when you're meeting these motivated sellers, or as Mark and some of the other investors call them, the do not wanters, right? Finding out what their pain points are. Why do they need to sell their property? Is it just a want or is it a need? Those are the things that, you know, that it makes a great real estate agent, and especially one who's also an investor, because it might not make sense for you to purchase the property because, you know, it's not at the price point where you would be purchasing it for, you know, less than market value, but it makes sense for them still to sell it. So why not be the listing agent? Or why not refer it to a listing agent? And then you collect the referral fee. That's what it's all about in being licensed.
So let me jump in just for a second.
Sure.
So what my job today is to generate leads for our wholesalers. So when I generate that lead, a lot of times the lead is not one where a wholesaler or cash offer or flip type situation fits it. So in the last 60 days, I've closed 3 houses that I referred to those agents. They had them listed, and I got 50% of the commission. And if they were the selling agent, I got 50% of the sell too, because that was what I negotiated. And in fact, Maureen, I got a commercial property that I didn't have that much knowledge on or anything. She got it listed, got it sold, and my wife shared 50% as the listing broker. So
Absolutely.
as a referral. So my wife's a broker.
Absolutely.
So all I'm saying is I closed a house last Friday that probably had little to no commissions. It was in Flint, Michigan, and it was weak. I'm getting playback for some reason. It's gone. But all I'm saying is if you've got the license, you'll be able to grab opportunities that you normally wouldn't be able to grab and get them and make money with them. So when she's talking about referrals, and her office is ideal for me because it's close to my house and it's the right environment, and I can.
Well, and
work
that's
with the agents.
and that's another thing, about having a brokerage. You want to be in a brokerage that promotes the same type of culture that you're looking for. The culture has to be, well-rounded. You need to be with a brokerage that, like Mark said, finding the correct broker that's going to support you as far as what type of transactions that you're looking to do. So,
and I mean, she's got all the different agents, like she's got the suit and tie guys that are working with the larger owners and homeowners and doing the retail thing and
Yeah.
do real well at it. So,
I mean, the NAR average for real estate sales per year, it's shocking for most people when we tell you this, but it's less than 5 transactions per year for the national average of licensed real estate professionals, less than 5 deals per year. So, now the larger teams, they're doing a lot more than that, clearly, but that's because they're sharing in all of the duties of what it takes to, list and market a property, and sell it, take it from, start to close. Now, is it a requirement to have a real estate license to buy and sell homes? Well, no, it's not a requirement. Okay, it absolutely isn't. The easy answer to that is no. It isn't. That's the simple answer. You don't have to have a license to form an LLC. You don't have to have a license to buy or sell homes. You can do that as an individual homeowner. You can buy, hold, and sell properties in an LLC for yourself. But when you begin to act as a real estate licensee, then you need to have a license. The states have their own guidelines for how many transactions that you're allowed to do per state before you must be licensed. In Michigan, it's 5 deals, right? Yeah, because they figure that if you're doing more than that, then you're acting in the capacity of a licensed individual because you're listing and selling properties, right? So, they like to allow you to do, one about every 2 months. But the simple answer is no, you don't have to be licensed, okay, to do that. But there's no detriment to having a license either. It only can help you in your real estate investing business. Have anything you want to add to that, Mark?
maybe for Andrew, on that YouTube channel, there's if you're a brand new person starting up, I show you how to get yourself listed all over Google for a really low dollar, in the internet. And there's a video on there. It's probably 10 minutes. It's worth watching. And then if I was brand new starting out, if you want to be the winner, you need to learn how to control the deal. So you want to watch the tapes on lead generation, because when you've got the lead, you control it. So, and real estate's really not about ownership. It's about control. So
Absolutely
anyway,
true.
that's my 2 cents.
Absolutely
So I
true.
have a question for Mark. Mark,
Yes.
didn't you say in the beginning that when you started, you bought like 30 or you did like 30 or 80 deals?
26 houses in 6 months.
Right. So
I'm not telling people
now,
to do that either. Yeah.
Maureen, weren't you just saying that you can't do that many without having a real estate license?
Oh.
Am I understanding correctly or am I?
I bought them through a real estate broker. I have real estate representation.
Okay.
So I didn't violate anything.
And Mark's wife is a real estate broker.
Oh, okay.
She wasn't when I bought the 26, she wasn't. We were both dumb and young. But we were lucky because and the broker we had was very experienced and knew what he was doing and got us incredible buys, which when we bought them, we made money. And we were buying to rent, and they were all in the lakes area, suburb type properties.
Mhm.
So,
All right, thank
So
you.
some of the, yes, absolutely. Great question. Advantages of having a real estate license, right? So some of the advantages are, using your access to the MLS to find good deals, right? Having a license will put you in relationships that you wouldn't necessarily have simply as a real estate investor. So network with other licensed agents or professionals in the industry, such as the lenders, the title agents, contractors, attorneys. So why not get paid, right, to help other investors find properties, and never miss an opportunity to get paid a commission if it doesn't make sense for you to purchase the property, but the owner still wants to sell. Make that money with the commissions, right? How many times, I mean, I can't tell you how many times, I probably shouldn't, but we've had agents that have had their real estate license, and I've caught them like, purchasing properties, and I've said to them, why did you not put yourself in as the agent purchasing this property, as the buying agent as well? And they said, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, why would you leave money on the table? The seller's offering a commission. Why wouldn't you want to collect that? So you want to make sure that you're getting paid, right? Don't leave money on the table. Let's see here, we'll go to the next slide. So access to real estate investment deals, right, is another reason why having access to that MLS. It's going to give you access that you wouldn't normally have, right? You're able to join local real estate boards with that access to the MLS or the multi-listing service. It's also going to give you access to public record documents, which we call like the PRD. And these things are not available if you're not currently licensed. And the county information typically, when it links to the MLS is, in real time or as close for most communities. You're going to be able to pull your comparables. So you're going to get the pricing data, past and current. You're going to be able to do your ARV, your after repair valuation, because you're going to see what properties look like, on the low end, right, before they were rehabbed. And then you're going to see them, middle of the road, where maybe they just stuck some lipstick on the pig, as we like to call that, hoteling, right? Put a little paint on it and kind of clean it up. Or you're going to see the full rehab and what that looks like with all the bells and whistles, the granite, the backsplash, the tumbled marble, all of that good stuff, right? The bells and whistles that, the buyers like to see. So you're gonna have access to that information. So it's going to help you to decide maybe what you do with that property, how quickly you might be able to get rid of it, and what it's going to take in order for you to do that in your time frame. Okay. So ownership chain of title information, it also allows you to see some of that. So that way you can kind of see maybe if there might be, some liens or things like that that are filed, because again, it's going to give you direct access to some of that county information. Let's see here. Forms for all the transactions. So you'll have forms that have been reviewed and approved by attorneys many times over for the listings, as well as purchase contracts for your clients. Now, what I'm going to tell you is not always is that the purchase contract that you would like to use as an investor, because there's some language in like Mark's forms or some of the other investor forms that, excuse me, only helps to enhance your buying capabilities. Mark, would you like to speak on that for a second?
if you watch some of the videos on the YouTube, it'll talk about our buyer favorable purchase agreements that have been tested and been down the warpath, say, but there's videos in there for an hour long or 2 hours where we just talk about every clause in there. They're all in Word document form. So if you watch it and you want us to email you those forms, we'll be glad to do that. And then you'd have to check to make sure they conform with your state. But
always do that. But one of the things that Mark's does have is like tax prorations and things like that. When you're the purchaser, you want to make sure that, you know, the taxes, if they've already been prepaid, that money comes back, goes to you and stays towards the property and doesn't go back to the seller per se. So there are things that are
So you
in
have
these
like a
forms.
clause with no tax prorations.
Correct.
There's clauses in mine where if you're taking over a property
Or-
that's got a due on sale clause, it's language to do that. It's language where you're taking it subject to, not agreeing to assume and pay. When it says subject to, it means you're not accepting their liability of the underlying mortgage. So there's lots of nuances in there that you that are available to you.
There's also the assignment clause for the wholesaling. Yeah, absolutely. So there are definitely forms out there. And a lot of times, if you go to your local RIA organizations, the real estate investing organizations, sometimes, you know, you'll find your local forms where, you know, those have been used time and time again from the local investors in your area. So networking opportunities, again, you're going to work with experienced brokers and agents in your office. Introduction to lenders, appraisers, surveyors, attorneys, title companies, etc. And that networking opportunity, what you're going to do is you're going to find yourself, you know, in sync, right? Having the same mind meld of people who are, you know, doing exactly what you're doing, you know, surrounding yourself with those same type of people and learning from them. So networking is a great thing. I can't explain how much you will learn by going to networking meetings. I mean, pre-COVID, you know, we were finding that there was almost a meeting every night of the week you could attend locally. Now, post-COVID, not so much, but hopefully we'll be able to get back to that sometime in 2021.
But like that meeting that we have once every Wednesday with the wholesalers, there'll probably be 30 or 40 people on that call, and you can ask all your questions. It's
absolutely
a lot of it's educational.
And that's the reason why they've gone to the Zoom format, because otherwise they'd be standing up at a local RIA, you know, touting the same information. Okay, so commissions, right? You're going to save money when you're selling your own properties. A lot of times, you know, it's something that you can work out with your broker, but because all things are negotiable in real estate, you'll learn that in licensing. All things are negotiable, nothing's set in stone. And you can earn money when purchasing for yourself or assisting clients to purchase. So it's all about, you know, what you work out, but, you know, why not get paid, you know, to be in the real estate business? And this also lets you know. So when you're selling properties in other markets, maybe that you haven't thought of purchasing in, you're going to know what's going on in those markets as well, right? You're going to be the professional. You're going to come across all kinds of deals. And right now, with inventory being so low, you have an opportunity to find these off-market deals as the investor. And when you have buyers or other people have buyers, here's a way to, you know, get paid for those off-market deals too that you're coming across. So it's a win-win. Control of the deal. So being your own agent when buying gives you more control. Okay, as Mark said, selling your own homes gives you full control, prices, terms, etc., especially when you're negotiating. Okay, education, industry and market knowledge. Like I said, when you're out there, you know what's going on. You've got your finger on the pulse of the market. You know, you're able to, you know, kind of roll off those figures right off the top of your head. You know, it's, you know, $175 a square foot in this area, you know, whatever it takes, you know, the average, you know, sales days on market. You're going to know those things, especially if you're doing broker price opinions, because it's something that you're doing every day. So it really, you know, I can't express to you how much knowledge you can get from having a real estate license. Learning how to do and get paid for broker price opinions, like I just said, but you have to be licensed, right? That's a must.
So one thing on our wholesale meetings, like the one that they'll have this Wednesday, the new wholesalers will get properties tied up for a ridiculously high number that won't work. And Todd and some of the guys will actually spend the time to show you how to really determine what price you can buy property at from a wholesale perspective. So
Yeah, and in fact, Mark, they were comping some properties last week, and I know that you're going to have a video up here pretty soon, and it's actually going to be from that meeting, and they're going to show you how they're comping properties. They're going to show you exactly what they're doing, what softwares they're using, because you're going to see the licensed individual, you know, and he's going to show you how he would comp them using the MLS, and then they're going to show you the unlicensed investor and what things that he's using in order to comp properties and to see how closely they match, right?
yeah, that's good.
And yeah, so
Then in your own markets, there's another video on the YouTube. We had a really experienced wholesaler. He does driving for dollars. So when he's driving a market and he spots the houses with, you know, the bad roofs or the deferred maintenance, he has an app where you can pull up the owner right on the spot and call them and stuff. He did an incredible job of walking everybody through that. That's a
Yeah.
current video that just got put up.
absolutely. And then of course, certified REO, right? So if you want to become that REO listing agent, you know, our brokerage offers, you know, certifications that you'd have to have in order to be able to list those properties, those bank loan foreclosures. So, you know, that's something that, you know, we do here at Villa. And it gives us an opportunity, you know, if the properties present themselves, for you to be the listing agent. So it's always about opportunity and taking action. I can't say enough about that. That's really, you know, where we go with this. It's all about the opportunity, you engaging in real estate and taking action.
And I want to throw this into 90% of the real estate brokers out there. What's going to happen is they're in the retail business. So you're only going to find the brokers that you're looking for at the RIA meetings, the meetups, the investment agents. Not that they don't handle retail, but you're looking for one that does both. And what happens with an investor that goes into a regular retail real estate operation is they get shown the door, because they contaminate the other retail agents. That's the philosophy. So it's I'm not going to say their names, but if you don't know, you'll figure it out when you join one and they show you out the back door.
Well, there's some of the
So-
larger brick and mortar companies, you know, out
Yeah.
there. Let's just say that. Some
Yeah.
of the larger brick and mortar real estate brokerages out there would prefer not to have, you know, wholesale investors or whatever, you know, in their midst, because yeah, I mean, it's not the mindset, it's not the culture that they want within their office. Mhm.
Is
'Cause they
everybody
want to
muted
get a piece of
right
your
now?
deal. What's that?
I'm not, but I have a question.
Sure.
When you were talking about the person that, this just so I don't forget it, that drives up in front of it, punches in some numbers, and he knows all about what's going on with it. Was he using the black book?
He's using an app. And
Oh, it's not the REI black book?
no, he's got an app that pulls up everything, gives him the comps, gives him all the information.
Yeah, if you look at Mark's,
He
you watch
yeah,
Mark's videos, you'll see where he's
and they
talking about, get the name of it is how to, something about the market changes or something like that. Mark, isn't that the title? Something about how to adapt your real estate investment business to the market change.
3 or 4 of the agents gave out different apps that you can use.
Yeah.
He really liked that one. And if you go on the Wednesday night meetings, you can ask about what app too, and those guys will give it to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Go ahead, Ernie. You have a question?
Yeah, I have a question if it's okay.
Sure.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. You know, I guess there is a lot to learn about getting a real estate license, and I see that it seems to be very valuable and it opens up a lot of doors. One of the goals that I had that I was curious about is to ask you if if my goal was to say buy properties very cheaply
Mhm.
that might need a lot of work because as a mechanic myself, I am capable of rehabbing houses all by myself. Um, if I wanted to get a real estate agent license, how would that help me find discounted properties that might need a lot of work, specifically duplexes and between 2 to 4 units, like multifamily homes that I could purchase rather cheaply that needed a lot of work and pay for that, with what they call sweat equity as a buy and hold strategy. But I don't
So,
want to buy in the slums or, some shitty place where the people are crazy, because I've been a landlord for 12 years. So I,
yeah.
I would just like to know how would a real estate agent or a real estate license give me better information to find better quality properties. I mean, well, maybe not quality properties, but properties that are run down, that need work, that you could get cheap, but they'd be in a better area. Now, I do know
So,
that well, I'll say this, I do know that the Oakland County Courthouse does, foreclosure auctions twice a year. But that, they got people that go in there and they bid more than what the property's even worth. It's not even practical to attend it.
I would be, if you're in Michigan, and it sounds like you are, I would go on that Wednesday night meeting and I would put my order in and I would say, this is what I'm looking for. And this is what the areas I'm looking for, because it's chock full of 15 or so wholesalers that are going to provide that to you. And they've got to bring it in your numbers. They'll go to work for you. That's one way.
Oh,
Now the
well,
real estate,
oh, I'm sorry. Like, what was? Oh, you mean like a meeting that you guys have on Wednesday?
yeah, yeah, it's wholesale talk, and there was like 30 people on it. But the MLS provides you with that same tool. You just set your criteria up, and you're looking at stuff that's been out there a long time. Are you going to go in and just show them, Maureen?
I will. And once, yep, I'm
Yeah.
gonna pull it up right now.
Okay.
Oh, the
So,
multiple listing service, you mean?
yeah, and that's where I used to get those kinds of same deals that you're talking about, was straight off the MLS. And then, you can still offer terms on that stuff too. And you can still get good buys. So their problem is they're stuck with something that's got functional obsolescence or whatever. And it's
Does does the
perfect for what you want.
does the MLS list foreclosed and distressed properties also?
Yes.
Oh, it
Yes.
does.
So
Yep.
Mark,
And
can
and
you
you
see
can
my
search.
screen? Can you see
Yeah.
my screen, Mark?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's perfect.
Okay.
And you can search by terms too, like handyman special, foreclosures, bankruptcy, uh, probate estate. So there's a lot of ways that you can find those items that you're talking about in the MLS. And then you just make an offer, a low ball offer.
So if I was gonna, right now, everything that's, okay, so if I wanted to take these off, so everything that's for sale, multi, right now, in Oakland County, there's 30 properties right now. 30 multi-family properties. I didn't put in any more criteria than that, other than multifamily. But and then here's just the list right here. Now you can delve down, you can add more criteria of what you're looking for. You can go in and you can search by, like Mark said, key terms, keywords. You can search by square footage. So like, for example, here's this one, 10,000 square feet. It says it's 12 bedrooms, 12 baths, it's a whole apartment building. Looks pretty nice though, not gonna lie. But I'm just saying, so, and then here's what they're asking for it. And they'll give you like monthly rent, the annual net, income, the annual gross income. And then you can reach out to the listing agent. You can ask them for, their rent rolls and things like that. Right, Mark?
Yep.
So, but
Now, are you looking for, you said duplexes or multiples or?
Yeah, I I own an apartment complex currently,
Okay.
and I've owned it for 12 years. It's in Milford, and it wasn't easy when I first purchased it. I had to evict everybody. and I put better
Yeah.
people in. But as I would become better at it, to do like, for example, a credential checks, criminal background checks, credit score
Yeah.
ratings, things like that. Becoming a landlord became a cakewalk.
Yeah.
And I realized that I had made a good choice when I purchased it in a good neighborhood. This was back in 2010.
Right.
The tenants you attract are nicer. If you make it into a beautiful place, they enjoy staying there. You give them their space, you don't pester them. It's a professional business. But things became lovely. Our tenants have been there for 4 and 6 years. But what I can say is after I figured it out, how to be a good landlord, make the repairs myself, everything like that. I thought about getting more and building up a collection. Now just so you know that I'll show you a business card just so you know I'm not a bullshitter and blowing bullshit.
I don't think you are.
And,
Because
and
you know
up
how
here
these
on my,
people are. They want to, these kinds of people, they want to talk big and all this. So, say,
Yep.
just so you can see,
we
it's
can
not-
see it, absolutely.
it's not
So,
fake.
On my screen, Ernie, is speaking of Milford, is a property that was for sale in Milford. It's a quadplex, it looks like an older home that was, seems to be well taken care of. It's currently listed. Doesn't look to be in bad condition, that's for darn sure. What do you think, Mark?
No.
They've done some updating, some rehabbing here. Looks like it's just moving ready.
He's looking more for the REO.
Well, and I understand
Yeah,
that. I understand that. But what I'm saying is that so you can, but this is a comparable, right?
Right.
So you can
Yeah.
see what somebody's looking to get when the property's already been updated. So it kind of gives you, the idea of, what your
Value.
property would be worth when you're done, right? So as far as your sweat equity, what the value is in that, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah,
just,
you
that's
you
just
have
an
to-
example.
Well, you have to be very careful when you would invest in something like that. Pay attention to the taxes. How much rent can you collect out of it?
Mhm.
The
Right.
condition is a big thing.